Yo, what's going on? Where my people at? We chilling in the cut, man. We finna get it in real quick. I don't know if I wanna put y'all over here, over here. I keep it about right there. We finna get in the cut one good time. Figure out what the hell we done missed. What have we missed? Let's find out.
A.m. on the morning of July 27. Her family says they do not believe she is a runaway case.
This girl right here is on Lebanon Live News. This is like, this today. This is today. If you seen her, goddamn, say something, motherfucker. If you seen her, say something, motherfucker. Alright, where we at? Giving details to this CDC. I know what time it is.
I'm very worried that he might have been involved in this shooting today. Can't get any info.
Hold up. Trying to get this mic right. You might not get it right, bro. I'm telling you, I'm really not feeling doing this the right way. But I'm gonna go ahead, plug in these joints right here. See what this do. Enough space. Really got enough space to react. Things get out of hand. Sorry about that. Alright. Make me want to start over. 3 minutes in the chat. Right now we're just, we finna get into this here heat game. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can't hear the stream. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. We got the background loud. Hold on. Turn it up. Turn it down. Okay.
Newly released 911 calls from the father of a man now who's accused of carrying out the deadly shooting at the CDC on Friday, giving us insight this morning into some of the gunman's past mental health issues. 11 Alive obtained a list of prior 911 calls where police responded to the family's home, the home of the suspected shooter, Patrick White. In total, 10 calls were made in the last 2 years, including for suicide threats and domestic disturbance.
Neighbors described the 30-year-old as a nice person who struggled with mental health. Authorities say he blamed the COVID-19 vaccine.
Okay, first thing they doing wrong is they talking about this dude too much. They giving him too much light. They giving him too much shine.
Newly released 911 calls from the father of a man now who's accused of carrying out the deadly shooting at the CDC on Friday, giving us insight this morning into some of the gunman's past mental health issues. 11 Alive obtained a list of prior 911 calls where police responded to the family's home, the home of the suspected shooter, Patrick White. In total, 10 calls were made in the last 2 years, including for suicide threats and domestic disturbance.
Neighbors described the 30-year-old as a nice person who struggled with mental health. Authorities say he blamed the COVID-19 vaccine for his depression and became fixated on the CDC. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation is expected to give an update later this morning on the shooting any minute now.
That's right, but for now, we're going to go to 11 Alive's Dan Kennedy outside the CDC with the latest on the case. So, Dan, what are you learning this morning about the number of shots fired into that building behind you?
181 shots fired into that building behind me. More on that in just a moment. But as you were tossing to me, I just got an alert.
Wow, did they just say 100 shots, 139 shots was fired into the CDC? Wow, they didn't make it seem like that, man. I stay close to this. Man, that's strange. They ain't say nothing.
On my phone from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and they are now announcing that at 10 o'clock this morning, they are going to be holding a news conference to update the public on this investigation. At that news conference, we expect the Atlanta Police Department, DeKalb County Police Department, Health and Human Services, Emory University Police Department, the FBI, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Again, that's going to be at 10 o'clock this morning, and you can bet we're going to be bringing that to you on our streaming platform. In the meantime, back to the investigation and what we know right now. 181 shots fired into this building Friday. Some 150 windows were broken that could take weeks, if not months, to repair. On Monday, CDC security gave Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. a tour of the campus. He flew into Atlanta for that meeting. He also met with the DeKalb County interim police chief and later met privately with Officer David Rose's widow. Meanwhile, thousands of CDC employees will continue to work from home today and the rest of the week. We're also hearing from a union representing those workers who credit security for preventing an even bigger tragedy.
On behalf of AFGE Local 2883, condolences to Officer Rose. He went above and beyond the call of duty for all of us, and for that we'll always be thankful. We appreciate also the guards at the gate that prevented the shooter from entering the campus in the first place.
Outside the DeKalb County Police Department, a growing memorial honors Officer Rose, a 33-year-old father of two with a third child on the way. Just 5 months ago, during his police academy graduation, Officer Rose said that policing is about being the person who runs toward danger when others run away. Aisha, Jonathan, again, the latest news coming down within the last couple minutes. We expect a news conference at 10 o'clock this morning at GBI headquarters with a number of agencies to go over where this investigation stands right now. I'll be there and I'll bring you the latest this morning. Reporting live outside CDC, Dan Kennedy, 11 Alive News.
That one is crazy. Mind you, that one is crazy. They're acting as if he tried to go into the CDC first and then got kicked out. So that was something different. No. You tell me. check out bro video.
Our boys get again. Sirski. Oh, let me pull up on Zoo Crew, man. This nigga is
That's the bro video a la Tony.
slide off in here. What's up, gang? Okay. We got another vendor. Check him out. So they is in here professional with it, man. Oh, look at that. Is that a bag? That's freezer, man. Oh. Come on now. Come on now. Man, nah, these bags is crazy. Definitely gotta come back and see him. They in here with the bags, y'all. Real shit, they in here with the bags. What's up? What's up? They in here with the bags, man. I'm finna pull up on Zoo Crew, man. This nigga that slid his ass off in here. What's up, y'all? Okay, we got some more vendors. Hey, man, video all on, man. We can do that. We can do that. We can do that. Let's get right. Hey, man, they nice, man.
It's a good video. I don't know if I want to share all of it.
Man, that boy is so cool, man. You know what's it? You know what it is.
Something what?
Yo!
I like your shirt.
We did not set this up.
Marketplace.
This was not a link up. Man, all organic. That shit crazy.
No, man, I'm impressed, man. I'm everywhere, man. My
That's
God.
a fact. And you've been going hard in the chat. I gotta give you your flowers, bro. You've been going tough. Yo, like real talk, like on PR shit, like you've been doing your thing, bro. And I salute, man. Straight up. Straight up. Oh yeah, man. I gotta get back.
What is he talking about? Chat. Come on, man.
Outside, bro.
Every marketplace, man. Investment
Yeah.
gas, fruit.
Oh shit.
I like that name. I like that name.
That's all it takes.
I like that name right there.
You gotta get down, baby steps.
You with this stand right here?
Every marketplace, man.
Marketplace. Get that money.
Oh shit. I said I was gonna fuck with them other vendors, but shit, Zoo Crew in the building, man. I can't lie.
We accept subscribers. We giving away free files plus other packages. All you gotta do is subscribe on Telegram. So come back and see us when you're ready.
I'm ready right now. What is he talking? I'm ready right now. I gotta let them get ready, man. We in here. Yo. Look at the waters. Look at the waters.
Oh yeah, they fly. That right there's fly right there, man. Look like you in ancient goddamn Greece.
Look at the waters. Look at the waters. We in here.
Oh man,
It's nice.
it's nice, bro.
That's the one who gave me the shot. That's the one who gave me the shot. Appreciate her.
Okay.
Appreciate her for the shot.
Yeah, the party friends.
I know security. I think that's a girlfriend for real. Hey, I wonder if we can get up there though. That'll be dope as hell, nigga. We're on the terrace. Hey man, y'all stay tuned, man. I'm gonna clip this right now. But this is just a walk up. This is just a walk through. I really gotta start micing my shit. For real. But I hope y'all getting the audio. But man, it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good night. You dig? You know they got that shit talk. You know they got that shit talk. Time to fuck this cash up on a new toy.
Okay, it's a good video. It's a real good video. I'm jamming that.
So he says he's cracking down on crime and he's going to continue to use the power of the presidency to do it.
Let's see some more Trump drama.
Trump's federal takeover of policing here in our nation's capital is sparking debate as 850 federal.
What he doing? What he doing? Okay, let's look at this picture here together. Okay, they got the red, white, and blue. Okay, in
Agents
D.C.
hit the streets of D.C. last night, making 23 arrests from homicide to reckless driving, according to the White House. The president insisting that D.C. has been taken over by violent gangs.
I see that picture right there. That's an expensive picture. Wow. See this picture? Wow. That's a photographer took that picture. He got the roof right here at the top. Ukraine.
According to the White House, the president insisting that D.C. has been taken over by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals. But according to Metropolitan Police stats, despite a spike of crime in 2023, rates of violent crime has actually hit a 30-year low. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser met with the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi about the federal takeover of her police department this morning. She briefed reporters right after the meeting.
The executive order is pretty clear, and so is the law. The president has the authority by virtue.
I don't like what I see right there. Something about that ain't right.
Virtue of the statute to request services. Our organizational chart, how we do business, how we fund the police, how we make changes, none of that has changed.
Our Perry Russin was tracking not only the meeting, but the press conference as well. So what more do we actually know about these arrests that the White House touted, these 23 arrests, and how this combined law enforcement effort is actually working, Perry?
Yeah, as you mentioned, 23 arrests. Those charges include homicide, firearms offenses, possession with intent to distribute, and then also 6 illegal handguns were taken off of the street, as you mentioned, just a short time ago. About 850 officers as well as some federal agents were sent across the city last night. So 850 officers plus federal agents, no National Guard members have been sent out. But as we've been talking about all day, we're very curious to see what this looks like going forward once the National Guard is implemented and they are on the streets of Washington, D.C. The Army giving us some more information today on what the National Guard will be doing. They say it's a 3-pronged approach, looking at administrative issues, logistical issues, as well as that physical presence. So physically seeing the National Guard members in D.C., Kira.
Well, President Trump also putting out a warning to the locals here in our nation's capital. Let's take a listen.
They love to spit in the face of the police as the police are standing up there in uniform. They're standing and they're screaming at them an inch away from their face, and then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit and we hit, and they can hit real hard.
He's talking about these protesters that aren't really digging the new police policy here. What do you think? Is the way we see law enforcement in our nation's capital going to change for a while, maybe be more aggressive?
Yeah, I mean, just for the short time being, we know this is supposed to last at least 30 days. If this does last longer, it's going to take an act of Congress to try and extend the national takeover of the police department. But just hearing from the police union president yesterday, he is very supportive of this idea. He says his officers are stretched thin and essentially they're looking for any help that they can get. And then also hearing from the mayor today and the police chief, they're pretty open to this idea, trying to see how they can use all of these federal resources together to try and quell any issues with the crime rates here in D.C. So I think a lot of people here in D.C. are very curious just to see what this looks like going forward, and then how long this will last too, because a 30-day window, what happens once that window is over? We're very curious to see what the White House deems successful and what they want to do after this 30-day window, Kira.
All right, we're going to track it, of course. Thank you, Perry.
Do I got y'all on the YouTube? Do I got any friends on the YouTube? Tap in. We really backed up on the goddamn YouTube videos, the still video. Still in my aluminum deposit. Some of that symbol right there, man.
President Trump declaring a public safety emergency, saying he's activated 800 National Guard members in the nation's capital and has now placed the D.C. Police Department under federal control, saying that Attorney General Pam Bondi will, quote, take command. This takeover is happening as the president says that crime in the city is out of control.
Looks like, yeah, it shouldn't be going down in D.C. The same time I see the switch up, the other chick look like she on a mission for Trump, to protect Trump. I mean, it's just clear cut. You can tell it's right by the White House. Not y'all though, but y'all niggas tripping. Let me tell y'all like this. There's a transfer of power in D.C. right now. But it's a change in color and race too. People don't know that it's a clear-cut science to this. The more black chiefs we have, the more black power they have. So they know they got to remove a black chief officer and replace him. But also probably blackmailing her too. Because some people like to fight. She didn't fight it.
Control, despite officials saying that certain crimes in the city have hit a 30-year low. Watch this.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. If necessary, we're going to move service members directly to joining the Guardsmen, and that'll take place very rapidly.
CNN's Brian Todd is closely following this story for us. So, Brian, take us through President Trump's order and what else he's threatening, because he says he might activate the military?
That's right, Boris. He says he's kind of reserving the option to activate additional military units in Washington, D.C. if need be. He then later said he didn't think he would need them, but he's going to keep that option open. He is also considering at least, expanding the National Guard deployment to other cities. He named Chicago and New York City. But let's see how this plays out in Washington, D.C. first. We do have some source reporting from three sources familiar with the matter saying that both the D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Chief Pamela Smith did not know of President Trump's announcement prior to when he made the announcement. They were caught kind of unaware of this prior to when he made the announcement this morning. As you see the graphic there, the president plans to mobilize some 800 National Guard members on the city streets here in D.C. to put the D.C. police under federal control. That is unprecedented, by the way. A president of the United States has never taken control of the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department.
this piece of busting right now.
Before. Also, FBI agents are going to be patrolling with the police department here. That is also a very rare occurrence, according to our sources. It's very rare for FBI agents to patrol with police in a local police in any given city. Already some pushback here in the district from this, but let's first hear from President Trump. I'll get to the pushback in a moment, but here's what President Trump had to say about what he hopes the police could do in the city.
See, they fight back until you knock the hell out of them, because it's the only language they understand. You can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there and people are spitting in their face and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
So the president promising a very tough crackdown on crime here in D.C. And again, we mentioned some pushback to this. The D.C. Attorney General, Brian Schwab, has issued this statement, quote, "The administration's actions are unprecedented, unnecessary, and unlawful. There is no crime emergency in the District of Columbia. Violent crime in D.C. reached historic 30-year lows last year and is down another 26% so far this year. We are considering all of our options and will do what's necessary to protect the rights and safety of district residents." Attorney General Schwab is correct there when he says that crime is down in D.C. According to the D.C. Metropolitan Police, violent crime is down 26%, assaults with a dangerous weapon down 20%, robberies down 29%.
It has been more than 24 hours since President Trump placed the Washington, D.C. Police Department under direct federal control. He said he's doing this to help combat crime. Today we have some new answers and some new questions on how this could all play out. This afternoon, the White House gave an update on the latest numbers, saying approximately 850 officers and agents have been surged across the city. We do not know specifically how many of those 850 are National Guard troops or National Park Police or FBI agents, which have all been mobilized. The White House says those officers and agents made 23 arrests, including arrests for homicide, firearms offenses, possession with intent to distribute, narcotics, lewd acts, stalking, possession of a high-capacity magazine, driving under the influence, and fare evasion in D.C.'s metro. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the president's order will be reevaluated in 30 days. Just moments ago, Trump border czar Tom Homan weighed in on the president's action with this stark assessment.
I think the president made the right call on it, cracking down on crime in D.C. I mean, I've lived in D.C. for several years. I won't walk the streets without having a gun. I mean, it's the violence and the crime is terrible here.
The Trump administration has said these actions in D.C. are just the beginning, but we should note it isn't the beginning. Los Angeles was the beginning. You might recall in June, Trump deployed roughly 4,000 California National Guard troops and 700 Marines to Los Angeles, the stated goal being to combat, quote, violent insurrectionist mobs, unquote, in and around L.A. The protests were in response to immigration enforcement action around the city. Critics say that troop deployment quickly became fairly pointless. Or as the Los Angeles Times put it, quote, the National Guard came to L.A. to fight unrest. Troops ended up fighting boredom, unquote. All but 250 National Guard troops had left by August. Very little actual crime was charged from those protests, regardless of how easy it is for prosecutors anywhere to get a grand jury to indict anyone. So easy you can get an indictment of a ham sandwich and all that. Trump's top federal prosecutor in L.A. struggled to secure indictments in the protest cases. Out of at least 38 people charged with felonies, only 7 out of 38 were indicted, according to the LA Times. Then there's the actual cost of that operation. Shortly after the LA deployment began, the Department of Defense testified to Congress that the Pentagon would spend $134 million on it. $134 million. California Governor Gavin Newsom has filed a Freedom of Information Act request to reveal the total cost. But despite the lack of indictable crime and bored troops and a hefty price tag, Trump recently said this.
You look at Chicago, how bad it is. You look at Los Angeles, how bad it is. We have other cities that are very bad. New York has a problem. And then you have, of course, Baltimore and Oakland. We don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to lose our cities over this.
The crime is a problem all over the United States, and it has been for decades. But you have to wonder, why would President Trump bring up Los Angeles in his list of very bad cities? Is that an admission that his blueprint plan for troop deployment in American cities didn't work? Or does he think it didn't go far enough? CNN's Brian Todd has been out on the streets of D.C. spotting all the additional law enforcement and trying to get a clearer picture on how they're all going to work together.
I think this is long overdue. I've been one of the National Guards in this area for years. I like it. I love it. I feel safe already.
Longtime D.C. resident and community advocate Sandra Seegers is welcoming President Donald Trump's law enforcement and National Guard surge in the nation's capital because of the crime she sees in her neighborhood, much of which she says goes unaddressed and causes her to live in fear.
When I wait a while, listen for sirens or more shooting or running, then I come to the door and see what's going on.
Seegers is one of 2 community leaders we spoke to in Southeast D.C.'s Ward 8, one of the city's areas hardest hit by crime and poverty.
Children can't be children anymore. So they're running and playing. It looks like the police might be coming next or somebody chasing them. So this is how bad it is.
Last night, according to the White House, 850 officers and agents dispatched by Trump from federal agencies like the FBI were out patrolling D.C. streets, making 23 arrests.
These arrests consisted of homicide, firearms offenses, possession with intent to distribute narcotics, fare evasion, lewd acts, stalking, driving under the influence, reckless driving, and a bench warrant.
And Trump has called up about 800 National Guard troops who began reporting for duty this morning. They are expected to perform administrative tasks and manage logistics. They will also have a physical presence and be able to temporarily detain people. The National Guard will have weapons available, but are not expected to openly carry rifles, keeping them in their vehicles, for instance. Today, Washington's Mayor Muriel Bowser met with Attorney General Pam Bondi, who Trump assigned to oversee the takeover, vowing to make the best of the situation.
Right now, we have more police, and we want to make sure we're using them.
The D.C. police chief insisting it's a collaboration.
We will allocate and look at the locations around our city where we believe there are areas of pockets of crime that we would like to address.
Many D.C. council members and scattered protesters have denounced the takeover.
This was unprecedented and unnecessary.
Community activist and researcher Joy Doyle, also from D.C.'s Ward 8, is in favor of the increased law enforcement presence, but says it has to go deeper, that the intervention can't come just when violent crimes occur.
We are not understanding why the property owners who rent to whomever these people are, that are demonstrating open-air drug markets on these properties, why are they not being held accountable?
And we're now in a very popular area in the district for bars and restaurants. This area has seen a stepped up presence of local and federal law enforcement officers, and look to see more of them as we head into the evening hours tonight. Now, so far, the White House is saying this surge could last up to 30 days. At that point, they're going to reassess. And as you mentioned, Jake, the administration is looking at other high-crime cities in the U.S. for similar operations. Jake?
All right, Brian Todd on the streets of D.C. Thanks so much. Joining me now, Brandon Scott. He is the mayor of the city of Baltimore, which shares an overlapping labor market region with Washington, D.C. Mr. Mayor, thanks so much for joining us. So President Trump today called out your city, Baltimore, as one of the cities that is, quote, very bad and, quote, so far gone. Are you concerned, or would you welcome President Trump sending National Guard troops to Baltimore, and how would you respond if he did?
I think that, Jake, we've been through this with the president before. We had him calling us out during his first term and never lifting a real finger to help. This is the latest in the distraction tactics that the president and his team is undertaking to get folks away from having him talk about the issues that he should talk about, the economy, how the country has lost its state in the world. When you think about things, even things like the Epstein files, the stuff that we should be pressing the president on. And let's look at the facts, because I always say women lie, men lie, numbers do not lie, Jake. Of the city of Baltimore, through this moment that you and I are talking right now, has the fewest amount of homicides through this date ever on record, ever. That is 50 plus years. So for the president to say that we're too far gone, yes, we are too far gone from the outdated policies that the president likes to push that did not make Baltimore safer when I was growing up here in the 80s and 90s and 2000, like zero tolerance policing or policing while black policing. But what we have done now, we are acknowledging this historic reduction that we have in our city, but we're not celebrating here, Jake. You don't see me celebrating. You don't see my brother or sister mayors across this country celebrating, we're still remaining focused on the issue, because even this historic drop still is causing still too much of our residents to be victims of violence.
As you note, violent crime in Baltimore is down. It has come down. Baltimore is still number 3 on the list of U.S. cities with the highest violent crime rates in 2024. That's according to the FBI's crime database, which relies on reporting from local jurisdictions such as Baltimore. So specifically, what is working in Baltimore, as you were just discussing, and what federal help could help you bring the violent crime numbers down even further?
Yeah, what we're doing now is that we have our comprehensive violence prevention plan, Jake, where we do all of the above. We have a deep partnership with my office, the police department, our state's attorney, our attorney general, our governor, and our other federal law enforcement partners, where we have our group violence reduction strategy, or focus deterrence, where we actually go to the very small group of people who are the most likely to be a victim or perpetrator of gun violence and say, change your life. They actually get a letter directly from me as the mayor that says, change your life. We'll help you do that. But if you don't, we will remove you. We, under my direction, my police department has taken 2,500 guns off the street each of the last 2 years. The president could also do some very simple things for us, Jake, not just for Baltimore, but for the whole country. The president can say no one will no longer be able to go into a store and buy an AR-15. The president could join mayors around the country and standing up to Glock to end these Glock switches that allow our residents and our police officers to be shot with a gun that is now an automatic, and that can only happen with one company. He could end ghost guns in this country. He could do all of these things, but he won't.